All right. Hi, everyone. Good morning or good evening, depending on where you are. Good morning, good evening. Welcome to Hostel Management's newest online panel discussion. Today, we are going to be discussing in-house social media, using apps to connect with guests and keep everyone engaged. So we've got three panelists who will be joining us today, and the fourth person down there is Allie, who's going to be helping us with social media. So thank you, all three of you, for being here. I'll go ahead and let you guys introduce yourselves so we all know who we're talking with. Leor, we can start with you.
Hi, my name is Leor. Currently an independent hostel consultant, consulting for three different hostels in two countries. In Portugal, Tava Design Hostel, in Lisbon, Destination Hostels, and in Barcelona, Kabul Hostel. And awesome. That's about it.
And you have been using apps with your guests, correct?
Yeah, I've been introduced to a few and been using gloqon in Kabul Hostel now for 2 months and launching it soon in the other hostels.
Awesome, thank you. And David?
Do you hear me now? Oh,
yes. Yeah.
David or Daniel? David, yes?
Yes, David, yes.
Yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah, I'm David. I'm working at the Hostel Depot 195 in Winterthur. That's like 20 minutes from Zurich. And I'm kind of a member of the core group who runs the hostel. And I have to do all the computer things. Yeah, about in-house social media, we introduced about 2 months ago gloqon. And also just set up the basic setup, let's say, in hostelite.
Okay, great, thank you. And Daniel?
My name is Daniel. I'm a system developer, and I used to work at City Backpackers Hostel in Stockholm.
Okay, so you have the hostel side of things, and you're also developing an app yourself, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful, thank you. We were also supposed to have today Alexander, who is the founder or co-founder of gloqon. Unfortunately, he got hurt and was not able to join us today, so we wish you well and hope has a speedy recovery. And we also had Chris Douglas, who is an app developer of a new app that's going to be coming out, who had meetings conflict last minute. So hopefully we can get some more information from them if they want to share anything after the call. To kind of have the technology side, if anyone has questions on where these apps are coming from, why are they being developed, what new features they're thinking of, things like that. So, but happy to have the three of you today. So we'll go ahead and jump right in. So our first question, as someone on the hostel side of things, which app do you use and why did you choose that one? So what benefits does it have, or what certain uses were you looking for that called you to use that app? Leor, we can start with you if you'd like.
Like I said, currently using gloqon. I've been introduced to a few. I liked gloqon and decided to use it because it was web-based with push notification technology. And so nobody really needs to download the app. That's one of the biggest drawbacks that I find in implementing these social media apps. And basically to get people in the hostel socializing more, especially in bigger hostels, and to get them to have the information readily available in their devices about activities, what they can do, not just interact with each other, but also as a form of sales, or maybe not just sales, but creating atmosphere, people knowing what time the activities are, what's going on. And if it's something that they can get push notifications and be up to date, it's much better than posting on Facebook, where the people that you have on Facebook are not the people you have in-house. You want to focus on that. So that's why I chose to implement the social media apps and why I went with gloqon.
And you said it's web-based, so how are they getting push notifications if it's not something downloaded on their phone?
Yeah, I can't tell you for sure because it's Alex told me it's a new technology that allows push notifications on the mobile browsers. I have an iPhone, and he told me it doesn't work with with Apple yet because they're still developing that. But he tells me it does work with Android. I haven't seen it work with the Android, but I have seen it work on my, I use it on the laptop as well. So I see it on my Chrome or Safari, whatever I'm using. It does give me a push notification. Whether they get that push notification or not on the phone is different, but since it also sends out emails, I do get a push notification from my email, which tells me that something happened on gloqon, so I can check it out.
Got it. Okay, great. And David, what about you?
Well, I started using gloqon for a very simple reason. After the survey was finished, we received the results, and including was a free gloqon membership. And so because it was free, I thought I'd give it a shot and install it in our place. So that was like the first step, because I like to try out new things, if it works or not. And for me it was, yeah, the idea, our hostel is like, we don't have many backpacking tourists. We have a very different, we have workers, we have people who attend some courses or school students. And sometimes the backpackers are kind of lost. They miss each other. One guy is cooking, go to the room, then the next girl is coming cooking, and they don't meet each other. So maybe I thought that might be a good idea to connect the groups we have in the hostel which share the same interest, kind of. So that was kind of the basic motivation to do it. But I also was critical because I think maybe you need a certain amount of this group of people that it works. Otherwise, it's just deserted. And hostelite, because I started to look into it, what other applications are available, I saw there is hostelite, it's for free, so I just set up the basic setup.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we use, gloqon. I mean, that's what we actively promote also in the hostel, and where we put in news, etc. So we keep it updated.
And when you say it was free, that was just like a free trial, right? Because gloqon does have a monthly membership.
In my understanding, we have a lifetime free membership now.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
And Lior, do you have it for free or is it paid? I think you're...
Sorry, yeah. I have it for free. I did the same thing as David when they came out with a free trial. I thought, well, I'll sign up and check it out while it's still free. And I checked it out, saw it was what I was looking for, and so implemented it.
Okay.
And it is lifetime from what I understand.
Okay, awesome. And Daniel?
Well, the hostel that I was working at, they weren't using any apps. I just quit there like a couple weeks ago, so I know what they're doing, but they weren't using any apps at the moment, but they were sort of like looking for possible solutions. And yeah, they were looking at gloqon, but I think that it sounded like they didn't really want to use it because you had to pay for it, and they weren't sure if it would be effective or not.
And the app that you're working on, can you share with us a bit about it?
Yeah, I was a bit bummed because basically I had the exact same idea as gloqon separately. So I'm rebuilding that basically that same app.
Okay.
So I just saw that one existed like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
I was a little bit bummed to see that, but
okay. And so you were building something similar to connect guests to each other and to know what was going on in the hostel and all that.
Yeah, it's pretty much like identical to gloqon. It was pretty funny to see that.
Okay. And is that something you're working on, or are you kind of abandoning ship now that you know about gloqon, or?
No, I'm going to keep working on it. Yeah, I'm going to keep working on it.
Awesome.
It's almost done, so I might as well finish it.
What was your motivation for starting it? Where did you see that there, where did this all come from?
Same thing that I think these guys have said. And also you sort of see, I think the hostel scene has really changed in the last few years. People are so much on their mobile devices now, and not necessarily like kind of communicating with each other, playing the guitar, like having drinks together in quite the same way that I think it used to be. So that's why I thought an app would be cool to make.
Did you want to focus on a mobile app or web-based?
I was thinking web-based for the same reason I think was already mentioned. I think it's tough to get guests to download something when they're checking in. They just want to get to their room and relax, and downloading an app is not on their agenda.
So on the technology side, obviously we have the hostel side where the owners and the staff and whatnot can tell the guests about it if they choose to. But from the tech side of someone trying to create an app, what was your marketing plan, or how were you planning to get traction on your app?
That's a good question. I don't really have too much of a strategy for that yet.
So I would imagine it's difficult. It's the same with like when a new OTA comes out with a new, the new hostel world or new hostel bookers, or that, it's easy enough to get the hostels to put their inventory on it because we all have channel managers now. But getting the word out to guests to even know about it, if you don't have the guests on it, then it's kind of hard to use. So I've been really
sure.
At the hostel that I run, we downloaded Hostelite and put the flyers, all over the walls and stuff. But nobody downloads it. I mean, I also don't think we do a great job at promoting it actively beyond the kind of passive flyers. We had the little flyers to hand out at reception when we check people in. I don't think they get handed out that often. And even when they do, like you said, people check in, they don't want to download an app. They just want to do their thing. So I think that's where we've struggled a little bit. I was personally wanting to let people know about our events. We do have the same issue, I think, as you guys, where the guests don't just organically hang out as often as they used to. And so we might organize an event, and it used to be in the past that everyone's hanging out at night, and we're like, oh yeah, we're doing this thing tomorrow, and everyone would join on. But now if everyone's not collectively together, they may not even know this event's happening. It's on the board, but no one reads it, kind of thing. So we were trying to reach out to people who maybe are, out during the day doing something, but can pop on Wi-Fi and see, oh, this event's happening tonight. Let's get back to the hostel for it. But I think Hostelite is a bit of a struggle in that way, and that they do have to download an app. And so far, no one is doing that. So it sounds like maybe you guys have had that experience mirrored a little bit. So it's interesting to learn more about gloqon or, similar, and how that is going to work. So with that, moving on to the next question. What was your initial reaction of getting these apps, of trying them out, gloqon or otherwise? And has it changed over time? Over these couple months you've been using it, has your initial reaction changed? David?
Well, to be honest, I'm not sure if ever somebody used it yet.
Okay.
I mean, we have it on the flyer. We have this, I don't have a smartphone, I don't know how to call it, the thing you can make a photograph and it leads you to a website. This black, white stuff. We have the link, we have our blackboard where we communicate about free concerts in the area or other funny stuff. We have the address, so we have several places where we promote it. And also on our public internet stations, the start site is gloqon. What we didn't introduce yet is like having a landing page when you join into the Wi-Fi. So that's what they recommend to do, because then everybody who joins in, the first thing it opens is the gloqon side of the hostel with all the information. The thing is, we don't do it, people are usually confused because they don't realize that they have to open the browser until the other apps are working. So the thing is, when I introduce a landing page, they always come to the reception and say, oh, my Wi-Fi is not working. And my colleagues are kind of annoyed by this because they're not really tech persons. So
you're saying they come to the landing page and they think that they haven't accessed Wi-Fi then because they see gloqon?
No, it's just when you join the Wi-Fi without password, but you have to the landing page to kind of log in.
Right.
So many people don't realize that they first have to open the browser, they directly go to WhatsApp or whatever, and the connection is not established even there in the Wi-Fi.
So it's like the same thing when you're at an airport and it's free Wi-Fi, but until you open the browser and do the...
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
I didn't went now to this level to force people to use gloqon, yes? So until now, nobody joined gloqon, but I think that's like the problem with gloqon is that you have to sign up. That's a big thing. You have to use your Facebook account to sign up, and that's just a very big step. But yeah, the difficult thing is I cannot tell you about the experience because there is none yet. I just fill in information, hope somebody reads it, but I have no feedback yet.
So is it possible that people are seeing the information, they're just not signing up, or you have to even see the information?
No, the good thing is you don't have to sign up. I mean, we have tips what to do in the area. We have a calendar, what's going on in the area. We have our special deals like the free football ticket for the football games, the free bus tickets, etc. We have all this information on gloqon, and you don't have to sign up to get this information. So I'm kind of like in this room where I don't know if it's really used or not. I never had the situation, oh, I saw on gloqon you offer free tickets, can I have one? This never happened. They just come and say, I want a free ticket.
Right. You don't really know the marketing source, basically.
Yes, because there is also a sign, we have free tickets in the room. So it's not only on gloqon.
You had ever talked to the staff, your coworkers, about talking to guests about gloqon, kind of asking them, are you aware of this? Have you seen anything on it? And get an idea of anyone? Or is it just kind of, that's like a next step engagement that maybe isn't happening?
Yeah, I never ask a guest, have you been on gloqon? Or when I do the check-in, I tell them the emergency phone number and the Wi-Fi password and all the other informations on this paper. I don't tell them because they are only actually interested in the Wi-Fi password, and then they shut their ears. So.
Got it. Okay. And Lior, what about you? What was your initial reaction, and has that changed over the last couple months?
Well, I didn't have an initial reaction because I didn't know how it would work. It's the first time using an app like that. I thought that it'd be something everyone would want to use because we live in a social media generation and everyone's on their phones, or they interact more through text than they do through actual face-to-face or on the phone. And I kind of thought that would translate into the hostel life, where maybe the common areas, they don't interact as much, but they might feel more comfortable interacting through an app, which seems to be the trends nowadays. That hasn't changed much, but I did see that it takes a lot of effort to get people to do that. For some reason, until they see the benefits of doing it, they just think that the hostel is pushing something, or they don't necessarily see the benefits of it. Especially, I mean, it depends on if you have a lot of groups, you know, like even more than 2 people, because they don't need to go to reach out and socialize. But when it's a lot of solo travelers, then they do reach out a little bit more, or they post who's going to the beach, let's go, things like that. But back to my reaction, it hasn't really changed. I didn't really know what to expect. I knew the way I thought it would go, and it kind of is going that way. But it's difficult to get traction.
And when David was talking about you can see events on there without logging in, do you see a similar thing where maybe your guests are seeing the information, but you don't really know it because they're not signing in?
Well, actually, we've kind of noticed what the barriers are in people using gloqon, and have tried to make it as easy as possible for the guests to actually use the app, or not the app, the website, the web app, I'll call it. And that's actually funny. That's the thing. It's not calling it an app. If you call it an app, even though they don't have to download anything, so we call it a web app. We do a lot of it. For example, because gloqon, if you put the website like I think it was David said, there's the QR code. You can scan that, but nobody scans QR codes. I think you have to download an app, and people just they're too lazy even to like open up an app to go to a website. And to type in the website gloqon.com/app/channel/Kabul/hostel, it's too much. So what we did is we got a web developer to put kabul.es/chat. If you guys want, you can actually check it out. So it's just kabul.es/chat. And that opens up automatically, it redirects into the gloqon R platform. So you don't have to go to just gloqon.com and then find us from there. It directly puts them in there. We've also incentivized them by saying that not everyone's going to do this, but we give them a half-hour free beer, an open bar for a half hour, with the only exception that they have to sign up to the event. So this way they learn to actually maneuver through the app or the web app. They learn to go to the calendar to see what the events are for today. They see the free beer event, and they learn to sign up for something. So to answer your question, I am seeing that people are using the app because 50 have signed up for free beer, of course, but then 2 or 3 or 4 sign up for the pub crawl or sign up for the dinner, or they sign up for, and they start using it. Not much, but it is there. And you do see people checking out also the social side of it and posting. So I am seeing use of it, but it has to be incentivized and it has to be made easy for the customer. If it's worth the half-hour free beer, no. But we did it because it's worth it, because it adds value for money, it adds atmosphere, it gets people together. So we've decided to do that, not just to push the app, but to also have an extra event that they would really want to go to because it's free beer, no catch. And that way they learn to use the app.
Interesting. And when you talk about, logging in then, do they basically have to log in order to RSVP to an event and join it?
Yes, that's the thing David was saying. It's some people don't want to do that, or they find it too difficult. I don't think it's too difficult, but I actually like the way gloqon has done it, because if you can see everything, you can see the calendar, you can see the social media wall, what people are writing, you can see information, so you don't have to log in. But if you want to sign up for an event, or if you want to see who's in-house, because there's a list of who's actually currently in-house, and you can chat with them, you can send them a message, you can add them as a friend. It really is like a Facebook of the hostel. Mm-hmm. And to do that, as soon as you click on the faces to see who's in the hostel, it pops up saying you must sign in to see who's here. Yep. Obviously, because to sign in, it gets your picture from Facebook, you're added to that list, your name, so you have 2 options. You can sign in with Facebook, and they make it very clear that they don't post on your behalf, they don't take any information. Or you can sign up and put in your first name, last name, email address, add a picture, which some people do because they don't trust adding it through Facebook. But I find that 90% sign up through Facebook because it's just a simple click, and they want their beer as quick as possible. So they just put in, sign in with Facebook, and that's it.
And it shows a Facebook profile photo.
That's right. It doesn't show any other information except for, I don't know if the age is on there, but it's just their name and their Facebook profile picture. Okay.
And have any of you guys thought about ever mirroring gloqon to a bigger monitor? Have you done that? So that, yeah.
We put it in the reception on an iPad, in an iPad stand. Okay. And we've blocked out the part where they can sign up, because I don't want people signing up on the actual iPad, but I want them at reception to look at it while they're waiting to check in. Or if they ask them information that we already have in the app, it's much easier for us in the reception to show them on the iPad, here's the information right here, and then they see the advantage as well of the web app.
And how did you block the sign up part of it?
In the iPad, you can put it on parental mode. It blocks it to one app, so you can't exit the app without a code. And you can set like parameters, not parameters, but parts of the screen that can't be, don't react when you touch it. So
Okay.
where it has the sign up, we've blocked it out so that they can't actually sign up.
Got it. And that's because you want them to be doing that on their own. Just, like you don't want them.
Yeah. On the iPad at reception, I don't want somebody signing up. I want them to know how to use it on their phone, because if I tell them, okay, free beer, this is how you sign up, they do it there, and then they'll never see it again.
Right.
It's one of the problems with a gateway portal. David was talking about a landing page. It's not actually a landing page. It's a gateway portal where you have to put in something, whether it's a password or press I accept terms. One of the disadvantages of that, although we haven't done it yet, is that it doesn't teach them to go back to it. So they'll open the Wi-Fi for the first time, they'll see the app, they'll do something, maybe they'll look at it, maybe they won't, but then if they do want to go back to it, they don't know how. So that's something that needs to be worked around, like we said, with our URL, that's really to do that. Also, gloqon has a lot of, I think they call it a media pack or a marketing pack, where there's input on the doors or in the lockers, and you, I guess, touch your phone with that sticker. I haven't done this to go to that website. I think stuff like that is really necessary, although it comes at an added value, or sorry, an added cost. I think that's what they really need, is something that's like, oh, touch this and you'll be sent to this app, and people want to do that anyways.
Magic.
Magic.
Yeah. How lazy have we gotten at this point? Touch it.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, it seems like a lot of what you've been doing with this app and in general is really educating the guests for future use, which I can only imagine a lot of us were doing that. We're not just educating our own guests for our own, hostel, but we're all kind of doing that they start to go to different hostels. They'll be used to using apps like these to be looking for information in them, which is really beneficial to everyone beyond just ourselves. So it's really interesting. Daniel, do you have anything you want to add about kind of your initial reaction of maybe wanting to create something like this, how you've seen things change while you've been developing, kind of where you're at now, especially knowing that there's other ones out there, just kind of what your journey has been?
Yeah, I think it's, well, yeah, I agree with what has already been said. I do think it is a challenge to get people to use these things, and that's something that I'm trying to wrestle with, because I think that's the biggest challenge of developing something like that. I think there's a certain sense, sort of amongst backpackers, when they go traveling, they kind of want to like get away, which kind of means getting away from their devices, but at the same time they're using them. I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing. I don't know. I'm definitely going to keep going with it. One thing for me, I'd say with my strategy is to do this on a super low cost, and I'm going to offer my thing for free, because I think that
I'm not sure if it's just me that has him frozen or everyone. Can the rest of you still hear, Daniel?
I hear you, but the others are kind of frozen.
I can hear.
Okay. Sorry, Daniel, if you can hear me, you completely froze on me, but maybe everyone else can still hear you. Okay. Lior, are you there?
Yep.
Okay. And David, you're still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right. And Daniel, can you hear me? Can anyone
I'm
hear
going to go with no.
Okay.
He's
I think
gone.
Daniel froze on us. All right, so we'll just wait on that for a minute then. Daniel, are you back? I think I hear you, maybe. Well, we'll wait again. See if he's back.
I have a question.
Yes.
Because Lior said the short link to your gloqon, this one, to have a look at it.
It's Kabul, like the city Kabul. dot es chat.
Dot what? Dot?
Chat. CHAT. Chat.
No. Okay. Dot.
Es, like España. Es.
Okay.
And so you basically just had your web developer set a redirect from that to.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
It's
It's this one.
Yeah, it's good because Kabul has a very short dominion. But if it has a longer one, it might be difficult as well. You know, you want to make it something very simple for the guests to go into. Make a Google short link, which is what we did before we had the web developer, and it's kind of difficult because it's GOO.GL. Bunch of numbers and letters, so it wasn't very easy for people to go into. Yeah, that's why also when we talk to the customers about it, we tell them once they're in there, they can save the link on their home screen or as a favorite and come back to it whenever they want. If you save it on your home screen, it's almost like as if it's an app. Anything, it doesn't take up any memory or anything. It's just a direct link to the website.
And how do they do that?
Depends on which phone they're using, but it's just usually in options when you're on the website, on your browser, on your mobile phone. There you go, the options, and you know there's bookmark or whatever, and one of them is add to home screen, and that adds like an icon on their home screen on their phone as if it was an app.
I think that's a really good idea. I mean, again, it's something you have to educate the guests on because many people won't know that. I don't even know if I actually knew that. Sounds familiar now that you're saying it. I'm like, did I do that? But just to be able to basically do a one-click, I think it's also useful to perhaps, you know, we always talk about Wi-Fi in hostels, but obviously people are looking for it outside of the hostel as well. You know, they're walking by a Starbucks, or I definitely remember chasing behind a city bus in Dublin that had Wi-Fi on it to try to connect to WhatsApp one day. So people are looking for Wi-Fi outside the hostel. They can go then back to gloqon, see what's going on tonight. Oh, you're going out for the day? You know, we're doing a pub crawl tonight. The information's on there. If you forget, you know, hook up to Wi-Fi and check it out. And get people engaged consistently with these apps. And then we'll have guests, you know, returning for events, hopefully. That's the idea anyway. Have you guys had any, reactions with guests? Have you talked about, I know, David, you said you haven't really talked with guests about it at all. Lior, you said you've had some interaction with guests, yes?
Well, I haven't actually done some sort of informal survey or talked to people about it. I just kind of monitor the use and see how many check-ins in a day, how many posts are on the wall, how many people sign up. It would be interesting to talk to the guests just to see if maybe they're uncomfortable with the amount of push notifications or emails that are being sent, or any sort of usability with the web app. But yeah, like I haven't actually gone and talked to people about it. I just see that it's being used.
Okay. And I guess a final question on these apps and technology in general. I mean, we all know, you know, it's no secret that travel is changing. People use their phones and their devices more. Everything's shifting a little bit. But in what ways do you see technology being used in the future of hosteling? Not even necessarily these apps, just on a larger scale.
Sorry, can you repeat the question, Courtney?
Say again?
Can you repeat the question again?
In what ways do you see technology being used in the future of hosteling? Not just with apps like these, but as a whole.
Good question.
Well,
do you have any?
Well, from my experience when I was traveling recently, what was impressive for me, I stayed at Urban House in Copenhagen. This is like the top notch about technology for me, because you can only book online. You cannot book at the reception because they do heavy yielding, and you always need a credit card. When you go there to the reception, you cannot book. You have to go to the tablet to book. When you book beforehand, you receive the SMS with your code to get in. You can do the check you have no contact with the reception at all. You receive everything beforehand, a code which is valid for 1 day. Maybe for you that's already normal. For us, which is kind of old-fashioned with the reception and everything, this is kind of like pretty futuristic for me. And they also use an in-house app which does kind of the same like gloqon, but they have their own app. They very easily can sign up and people post stuff. So,
And did you find you were actually using their in-house app?
no, I just was out of interest. I was looking into it, but I had no real use actually. I mean, there were some funny pictures, but it was not like too much going on that I didn't saw like, okay, here I can hook in and I want to go with this group somewhere. I just saw a post from yesterday, like at 4 p.m. who wants to have a beer, and the rest was kind of funny pictures, like more Instagram style.
Okay.
But it was very easy to use. No real login, just really straightforward. It was kind of interesting.
An app though?
Excuse me?
You have to download it. It was an actual app, not a web app.
No, it was a web app actually. It was when you sign up, yeah, like when you go into this to the Wi-Fi, and yeah, then you have again the same problem. If you want to go back to this site, then it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's really used in a useful way, but it doesn't have to be used in a useful way.
Yeah.
So if it's just fun, it's just what kind of felt strange. In the bar downstairs, you had a big screen, which was always the feed of this app.
Okay.
And there's, for example, I don't know the background story, but it seems that one guy was drunk and kind of sleeping, how do you say, moonwalking into the hostel and looking for a toilet, and some guys make a photo of it and post it there. And then the next evening, the next day, you go to the reception and maybe see yourself how you're walking around in underwear through the hostel.
Sounds like hostel life, for sure.
Yeah, it sounds like hostel life, but yeah, it might be problematic.
Yeah.
I'm still not sure if it's really useful. I kind of, for my feeling is, yeah, that's we need it, we have to use it. But for me personally, I don't see any benefit, but I may be just too old. Who knows?
It's interesting that you had a hostel with that system, because I've definitely talked about that before, both doing it or, you know, with other people thinking about it. And it seems a little counterintuitive to, you know, have a hostel where everything's so automatic, and you might think of it as being very like cold or unfriendly. But the reasons we talked about doing that was actually the opposite, to have all of that automatic, so then we could focus solely on being these atmospheric hosts that reception, rather than having to deal with all the admin crap, can just be there welcoming, like, hey, come on in, you know, have a beer, you know, join us for a game, whatever. And so we have talked about making things more automated, and having to do less of that. But, you know, it's a toss up on, is that, you know, people never have to visit reception if they can just extend their booking from their bed on an app on their phone. Will we ever even see them, you know? So
why should I go there? I mean, I can check in online. I receive my number to check in, and then I have maybe an app with all the information for it. I have no reason to talk to the reception. That's kind of sad. I mean, just from my side, as working in a hostel, I like to give information to guests and have a chat when I check them in. And I never want to run a hostel which is fully automated, because at this point you kind of feel useless. You need this first kind of contact, even if it is a bureaucratic contact, because you have to write down the passport number or whatsoever, but it's a first contact, you have a first small talk, and without that you're just like an info desk at the railway station.
Yeah.
It's also fun, but it's not so funny like in a hostel, I would say. I never worked at the railway desk. But, yeah.
And Lior, what about you? Any ideas of where technology is going in the future?
Well, specifically about these social media apps, because I think the future of hostels can be in social media, or making things more automated, connecting people through, or virtually. The thing about this is I don't think apps like this will ever be the future. There's something big that happens because right now it's very individual. Every hostel decides to do it or don't. And people there, I mean, people could be traveling for years across Europe, for example, and maybe come across one hostel or two that uses a social media app. It could be that one uses Comundo, it could be that one uses Hostelite, it could be that one uses gloqon. And I think not only do they not want to download an app just for one place, but they have to get, it has to start a traction. I think if everybody started using the same social media app and there was a voice throughout the hostels when people recognize going from hostel to hostel that, oh, okay, this is here as well, this is here as well, oh, I saw this in the other place, let's try it out. And then when they start using it, I think it's very beneficial to the guests as well as to the hostel, but it will, I can't see it actually taking off and getting enough traction. Even with when we implemented gloqon, like I said, we had to do so many things to implement it to make it and to make them aware of it, that it's a lot of effort that I don't think everyone will spend in doing that. And even after all that effort, it doesn't, you know, it's not like everybody's using it saying, wow, this is the best thing ever. And it's very difficult to get the traction going. Even, I mean, when we did the half-hour free beer and things like that, the idea of that was you can't see a post from 7 days ago, because if you log on or if you open up the page and you say last post was 7 days ago or last check-in was 3 days ago, he's using this, I'm not going to either. You have to instantly have everybody using it, create a traction, and once that traction's going, then people will keep using it. It's the same thing when we're talking about opening up the app worldwide, because if you just go to one hostel and use it, it doesn't have the traction to keep going. App developers in gloqon or wherever to get that traction going enough for their business to be known and profitable and actually people using it. So I don't see that being the future of technology in hostels unless it's maybe the tour operators might come across this path. They already have apps. If they created, I mean, they know when somebody's going to be at a certain place. They already send you calendar, it goes into your phone, and all of a sudden your phone knows that you're staying somewhere. I think in the same app, they probably can and might in the future develop some sort of social networking in that, and where you can see who's going to be checking in the days that you are there, that you can connect to them. Activities are happening during that time. See that as possibly sure, because if they do it, then there will be that traction and it will happen.
Interesting. Yeah, I can definitely see what you're saying, that if not everyone kind of joins on at once, it's just gonna kind of sit as it is. So it's almost,
it's just like you said, it's just like what you said with the new tour operator. It's like a new tour operator starts up and they need to get as many people on it as possible so that users see that there are a lot of establishments on this tour, on this channel to use it. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, definitely. Great. Well, that I think about wraps it up for today. But that was some really good information, especially for hostels who are thinking about using gloqon or otherwise, what challenges they may have while doing it. There needs a little bit more information about educating the guests and getting them to understand how the app works, what benefits it is to them. It sounds like web-based is definitely better than having to download an app such as Hostelite. So it'll be interesting to see, yeah, where the future of these apps takes us and how they go. So thank you so much for joining us, David, Daniel, and Lior. And thanks for everyone who's watching. And if you guys have any questions, if you guys are watching, go ahead and comment below. We'll see if we can get some answers to them. And we will see you next time. Bye, guys.